what we mean by using the words gender justice, gender equality, and such concepts. In the second session, I'll be taking up some of the laws, illustrative, not all the laws. There will be somebody else from the law department who will be taking up all the laws, but I'm taking up some illustrative laws to show how these laws have been specifically designed for protection of women. And when I talk of law, I am confining myself to criminal laws, not civil laws, criminal laws, because they need protection, against crime. In civil laws, they have their own rights to be protected, and there are civil laws to protect them. But when there are crimes against women, there are criminal laws which are applicable, and some of these laws are made applicable specifically for women when they are in problems, facing crime. So I'm talking of criminal laws, not civil laws. Now let us take up some of the concepts. First of all, the concept of gender. What do we mean by gender? First misconception is many people mistake gender for sex. In many application forms also, in government also, we see mention your sex or mention your gender. They are used interchangeably, as if sex is gender, gender is sex. But actually, the two are very different concepts. Please remember this, that sex and gender are not equal in terms, they are not synonym terms, they do not mean the same thing. Now, what is the difference? The difference is this. The term sex is applicable biologically. Biological birth determines the sex, male or female. So it is biological, determined by nature. Whereas concept of gender is mainly social and environmental. Now take, for example, your mother tongue. And we say mother tongue, but actually it is environmental. Family as an environment helps the child to pick up the language used in the family. That's how we develop language. So language development is a gender development, not a sexual development. It's not related to sex. Because the same child, if brought up in another family where some other language and some other environment prevails, then the child would acquire that environmental influence and will talk of that language which is mother tongue there. So, language is an example to show the difference between sex and gender. In sex, we don't talk of language. Language doesn't come by birth. Language is picked up during our developmental process from the infancy, right from the beginning of childhood, early childhood. The child starts picking up the language that is spoken in the family. That's how it becomes mother tongue. Mainly it is picked up from the mother because the child is very close to the mother. Therefore, whatever the expressions that the mother uses in terms of language, they are picked up by the child very quickly to meet its demands mainly. For example, when hungry, so maybe asking for milk, so picks up the word milk. And thus the language develops. So concept of gender is used in social and environmental context. Sex is different. So gender violence is different. Sexual violence is different. Rape, for instance, is an illustration of sexual violence. Whereas the gender concept, the gender violence, because she is the daughter-in-law and not in good books with the mother-in-law, there is domestic violence between the mother-in-law and now that there we use the word gender. So violence is on women because she is a woman. Sex is there. Sex is the basis for discrimination. But all forms of violence develop further because she is a woman and she plays the role of a daughter-in-law or maybe mother or maybe a daughter, some role she plays. And violence is directed at that role play. Only after marriage, the dowry problem may start. After marriage, for example. Because of marriage, it may start. Because of the in-laws. Because after marriage, in-laws come. And in-laws may start harassing the child, harassing the daughter. So it is environmental, and that is gender violence, actually. Sexual violence is different. Rape, for example, that is because she is a woman, there is rape. You may ask a question, can't men be raped? Men can also be raped. So the concept of gender can be used for bringing out these criminal attacks both on male and female. Males are also subjected to sexual violence. Males are also involved in gender violence. So we use the word both sex and gender depending upon the origin. Origin of the word sex is biological. And because a woman is a woman, because she is designed in such a way that she is susceptible for easy rape. Men cannot be raped like that. So that is a different form, different kind. But usually when we say rape, it is usually against women. And they become easily victims of rape because their biological design is that allows for violence against her. Whenever you have a doubt, please stop and ask me questions there only. Any questions that you want to ask? Hello? Do you have any doubts? Do you have any questions? Am I clear about the difference between gender and sex? You are clear?
Clear, sir, clear.
Now, we talk of gender because once the woman grows up, she gets into different roles, and sometimes she works shoulder to shoulder with men. There arises many problems. For example, women are not preferred much. There was a time when women were not preferred at all for military jobs, police jobs, and so on. Today, of course, situation has changed. Women are also equally eligible like men for defense services and for police services also. But still, the number of women is less in both the services. Although it is equal opportunities, women are also not coming forward because in their mind, they still think that it is not the type of job for them. It is difficult to perform night duty, for example. Difficult to go on night beats alone. A night policeman is supposed to protect people at night. Anybody violating their rights at night. So against them is the night policeman who does the watch and ward duty. Now put a woman in that place. Now she is not confident and she may be even overpowered by the rowdies or criminal gangs in the night. She cannot perform night duties alone. So whenever there is a woman constable posted for night duty, to protect her, a man is also protected, is sent with her to protect her. If she is to protect, and if some male policeman is necessary to protect her, then it is a waste of both money and time, isn't it? So even women find it difficult to accept these jobs because of so many reservations. Therefore, we see less in number. But as far opportunities are concerned, they are given equal opportunities. They can apply. So even defense services has been open to all the, formerly it used to be restricted. For example, they were not allowed to fly independently. Today, there are women pilots in the Air Force. Similarly, infantry, women, on foot soldiers, Padati Dala. dal. That's what we say, padati dal, going on foot. Today, there are women soldiers going on foot. So now, slowly, that distinction is disappearing. But the point I'm trying to stress here is that it is related to gender discrimination. We are talking of gender discrimination either in the police or in the defense services in selecting them. Now we don't talk of sexual differences. So the word sex and gender, see how they are used here. Gender is more used as a verb. Gender sensitization, gender justice, gender equality. See how gender becomes an adjective or a verb for use. Whereas the word sex is different connotation. Gender is very different from sex. This is the fundamental difference. Second point is, we talk of gender equality, gender sensitization, and gender justice, and so on. That is only to illustrate that a particular group, either male or female, are being discriminated. If they are not given proper opportunities, it is an injustice. If women are not given opportunities, it is gender injustice against women. Gender injustice can be for men also. Because they are men, they may not be preferred. For example, nursing. Mostly you see women in the nursing profession. Men are not preferred. So there is gender injustice against men also. Please remember, the concept of gender sensitization is to be explained to both men and women. Both need gender sensitization. This is the second important point I'm stressing. First, the difference between the words sex and gender. The second point is that gender sensitization, that is, sensitization is inculcating awareness about inequality, injustice against any one sex. It may be male or it may be female, but mostly it is against the female. Therefore, when we say gender sensitization, we think that, oh, women are discriminated, therefore gender sensitization is required for men. Gender sensitization usually is required for men, but it is required for women also. Women also, because they themselves have limited their opportunities. For instance, they say, I don't think I will succeed in the field of police. I don't think I will be successful in the defense forces. So they have limited themselves, thinking that they are not suitable, they are not fit. So women also need to be sensitized, say, just to indicate that they are equal potentialities. They are capable of doing the same job like men, but it is their own fear, their own complex that is coming in the way of their progress. You understand? So gender sensitization is making both men and women aware of injustice that is happening to them, discrimination that is being perpetuated on them, and therefore that should be eliminated. Indiscrimination should be eliminated. They should not be discriminated, whether it is male or female. But mostly it is females who are discriminated. Therefore, generally we think gender discrimination means it is discrimination against women. But it can be discrimination against men also. In fact, in psychology, we talk of Ardhanarishwara concept. In all men and women, there are characteristics of both men and women. Women have typical female qualities, but they also have men's qualities. We identify them, usually, people identify them as, oh, she is Amazon. Oh, she is like men. She should have been born as a man, and so on. Because she is of men who behave like women. The voice may be like that, limited, or it may be because of their own women. There are men like that. So, in all of us, there are both qualities. But a woman normally develops her womanly qualities suitable for her role as a woman, mother tomorrow, or wife, or as a daughter, and so on. Similarly, son will develop qualities usually found in men, depending upon the father, depending upon his own role as a son, or as a colleague, or with friends like same behavior. Be done. That awareness is gender sensitization. Gender sensitization is inculcating awareness in males or females about the injustice done to them in the society in terms of, say, economic opportunities, employment opportunities, educational opportunities, and our roles in the society, and so on. So it may be applicable to both, but mostly in Indian context, it is the women who are discriminated. Therefore, it is both men who discriminate and awareness among women to think that she can be equal to man in many aspects. But she is putting inferiority complex into herself. She is growing as an inferior person in her own feelings. She is limiting herself. Therefore, she also requires gender sensitization. What do we mean by saying that she requires gender sensitization? She should become aware that given opportunities, she could also contribute to the economic development of the country. She can also contribute to national development. She can also become a successful politician. She can become a successful engineer. She can become like men. That awareness is necessary for women. So gender sensitization is required for women. But mostly it is required for men who discriminate against women. Therefore, normally we think gender sensitization means it is men who require gender sensitization. But that is a wrong idea. They do require, we agree. Priority should be for men. They should become aware. But women also should develop gender sensitization regarding their own potentialities, their own qualities, their own characteristics. They should overcome their own inferiority complex. They should be, like men, contribute to the national development. In fact, you should have listened to the our Prime Minister, Mr. Modi's speech yesterday on the occasion of his 75th birthday. Perhaps today it is in all the newspapers, but I left home early, so I could not get a copy of the newspaper today. Otherwise, I would have shown you now. He has brought out so many projects for the development of women. Please read today's newspapers regarding Mr. Modi's speech on his 75th birthday. Special programs for women's development. How he is focusing on women's development and emphasizing women to realize their potentialities and to know that she can be equal to men in contributing to the national development. So this awareness is necessary for women also. So part of gender sensitization is making the woman also aware that she has potentialities. So this is the second important point I'm stressing. Gender sensitization is building up awareness for both men and women. Gender sensitization is required for both. Please remember that. It is not exclusively against men. Women might say it is the men who are discriminating us. You should take these classes for men. Yes, we fully agree. But at the same time, women also should overcome their inferiority complex. Who is responsible for this inferiority complex? She alone is not responsible. Society is also responsible. Other women, like mother-in-law, she might say, why do you want to go and join a job there? No, for women, don't go. Discourage. So she also needs gender sensitization. She must realize that her daughter or daughter-in-law can also become a good engineer like men. So there is no tailor-made jobs for men and women. Each can contribute in the other field as the other sex. Am I clear on this? Any questions? Please ask questions. Yes? I can't pick up anybody and then say, please, I think I can read the names here. For instance, here there is this Srimati Harsha Kumari, is it? Assistant Professor. Madam, are you able to hear me? Harsha Kumari. She is not responding.
Sir, I want to say something. I'm Jyoti.
Yes.
Sir, you told that discrimination is also for men. So one
Not
example.
discrimination.
Huh?
Discrimination is by men also, by women also.
Yes, sir.
For both require.
Sir, one example, the government is doing discrimination against men, not giving a free bus facility.
See, you are taking the example of government schemes, guarantee schemes. Actually, certain times we may have to do some reservation. I don't call it as discrimination. Women are being given preference for free rides because comparatively, when a bus comes in a bus stand, have you seen how people rush into the bus? Who rush in? Who finds the seat? It's not women, it is the men. They even go through the window. Of course, women are also now trying to go through the window. That is the because you are now competing with men. So in all fields, even getting through the window. So that is okay. But sometimes willingly, knowingly, women are given preference compared to men. So it looks as though men have been discriminated. That is only a temporary measure. This is not going to be permanent. Throughout your further generations, women will always have free bus ride. Don't be under that assumption. This is only a temporary phenomena until women find comfortable getting into the bus. So they are given preferences. Men will realize now, see, oh, this is for women, so let them get into it. This seat is reserved for women, so let them sit there. Do you know that even when seats are reserved for women, in which men also travel, they sit in the place where it is reserved for women and refuse to get up when women come. They argue. You go and complain to the government, they say. We will sit here only. What can you do? Now, what do? Reserve the whole bus for them. That's all. That's what government is doing. That is only a temporary measure, and you have to, men are bearing with it. They have realized now. See, gender sensitization sometimes comes by force. And this is one example, which you gave, is an example of how men are made to realize that they should not discriminate against women. Sometimes force is necessary. So as an inevitable necessity and as a temporary measure, this appears to be a discrimination against men. But actually, the intention is good.
Okay, sir.
Yes? Any other questions? It seems all of
Actually,
Dr. Nagesh is speaking.
Yes, please.
I think, yeah, someone, Dr. Dakshinamurthy sir,
was about to ask something. Yeah,
Yes,
please,
please.
please.
Yes.
Actually, in sports, we have separate events for women's and boys. Why they discriminate, sir?
No. Here, in sports,
Yeah.
the objective is to bring forth the maximum, to the maximum extent, your inherent abilities, mainly.
Okay.
When we want to encourage inherent ability, it should be a fair competition. A woman has some inherent ability, and all women have that basic inherent ability to some extent. Among them, who is the best? How do you find? When you reserve it for exclusively for a particular sex group. That is one thing. And the idea is not to make a woman exceed a man, excel a man, beat him. That is not the idea. That is not the idea of gender sensitization. Make them feel equal, not trying to beat the other, excel the other. That is not the idea. So, sports is to encourage inherent abilities, particularly characteristic of a group of men, women of a particular age group, so on. That is one thing. Secondly, in exclusively women's institutions, naturally it will have to be among the same sex. Only in a composite college or a composite school where both boys and girls are there, then you can ask this question: why not make them run together? Yes, especially that pulling the rope, where both men and women are given an opportunity to show their strength. Incidentally, nature, if you believe in God, God, or if you believe in nature, nature has given different potentialities for men and women. Nature has made sex discrimination. Nature has made sex discrimination is natural. Gender discrimination is social or not biological, social and economic, and by the society. That is another way of differentiating between sex and gender. Sex is nature made, whereas gender is man-made or woman-made. Society makes you what you are. So, what I'm trying to say is that nature itself has provided differential abilities for men and women. Please make a note.
Please repeat, sir. Please.
What are they? Stamina, strength, endurance. Man has strength. Compared to women, man has better strength. Nature has made it that way. But a woman has more endurance. She can suffer for a long time. Childbirth is an example. She carries for 9 months, bears all those pressures and pains of childbirth for 9 months. Man cannot. They say the worst form of pain is the birth pain. Man cannot endure it, they say. You ask the doctors, they will tell you. Only a woman can bear the pain of childbirth, not a man. Do you know what is the equivalent of childbirth pain? It is nearly 15 men suffering pain put together is one woman's pain. She has that endurance, bears it for a long time. How patiently she bears it for nearly 9 months plus so many days. A man cannot bear for 1 day. See, she has endurance and stamina. Stamina is sustenance for a long time. For instance, a man can show his strength by lifting a table like this. He can easily lift. A woman cannot easily lift like that. But once he lifts, ask him to keep on holding it. He cannot. Immediately he will drop it after some time. But a woman can hold it for a long time. You know, these vegetable vendors, men and women, most men prefer a cycle or some two-wheeler or some gadi for carrying the vegetables for sale. A woman carries it on her head and roams through the streets for hours together, bearing that weight. She has the stamina. There are so many women on the board here, I see. I hope you understand. And is there a question from you? Do you know please note the difference between stamina, strength, and endurance. So some men have strength, some men lack stamina, they lack endurance like women. Some women are very good in endurance, but they lack strength. When you want to push a table, a man can push the table. A woman finds it difficult. She might, but she may have a back pain or a fracture or something like that. That's why football is not very popular among women. Cricket has become popular among women, but not football. Basketball, yes, but not even wrestling. It's not very popular among women because different qualities are called for, and these differences are nature-made. These are differences because of the sex. It is not gender difference. It is basic difference. That is natural difference. So please remember, sexual differences are also there. Gender differences are also there. Gender differences are man-made. Sex differences are God-made or nature-made. Hence, it differs between men and women. Example, make a note, strength is an example. Endurance or stamina. Women can tolerate for a long time, but men cannot. Toleration is endurance, bearing for a long time, bearing pain for a long time, bearing burden for a long time, suffering for a long time. Because a woman suffers for a long time, man has taken advantage of her. Hey, what is there? Say, don't talk like this to your wife, I say. She might get hurt, she might feel bad. No, she knows all this. She bears for a long time. She doesn't bother. Doesn't matter. Tomorrow she'll be okay. Or after a month, she'll be okay. So somehow we think that she bears the suffering. Use that to harass her. You see, that is gender difference, not sex difference. She suffers for a long time, capacity to suffer is there. That is sex difference because of God-given quality. But using that, harassing her is gender discrimination, gender difference. So whenever we talk of gender injustice, it is the injustice to the woman mostly because she is a woman. Because she is a born woman. And that is not her choice. Please remember, all men, you were not made to born as males just because you should be blessed. No. You yourself didn't know your sex until you grew up and realized that you are male, not female, because it is the society that makes you aware that you are a male. But it is not a blessing for birth. No, it's not a blessing. No woman is cursed and made to born as a woman. Many women feel like this. Many women say, I should not have been born as a woman. Please do not do that. God has sent you. You are a wonderful personality. Women are wonderful. Therefore, you should be proud of it. And men should also be proud of it. It is not a curse being born as a woman. At times, we make you feel that way. Men make you feel that way. We are sorry for it. Of course, temperament and all that comes in the way, but please, as soon as possible, make it up between men and women. My request is, yes, discrimination happens and you feel the differentiation, and you feel bad, you become angry, all that I accept. But the answer lies not in stopping fighting, you can't, because it is natural. A home or between in human relationships, fights are inevitable, necessary. But how quickly you make it up is the important point. How quickly you make it up. Do not carry it for a long time. Husband and wife fight, and she may even go away to her own native place or her father's place, or independently. And days together, months together, they don't meet, they don't encourage interrelationships. And gradually it comes to separate living. Separation for 7 years makes you eligible for divorce. Any separation for 7 years or more is almost a divorce. In court, it is accepted as a divorce. So do not allow it to persist for a long time. Make it up. Human relationships should never be allowed to break up like this. So gender sensitization tries to bring harmony. This is the third point I'm trying to stress. Why do we want to sensitize people? Sensitize them to realize that these fights are normal, but always should be made up. It should not be for breakup. It should be made up. Otherwise, where is family? Where is interrelationships? And a divided family means, many more such families means the society is breaking up. And that leads to any groupism, that leads to any communal fights, and there will be lots of chaos and confusion in the society. Gender sensitization helps to bring harmony. It is necessary, and it is necessary for both men and women. Both should realize, both should make it up. You can't say, she's the one who started the fight, let her make it up. Or a woman cannot say, he is the person responsible for breaking this, so let him make it up. No, we both should make it up. Who is right, who is wrong is not the question. A woman has a wonderful personality, man has got a wonderful personality. Let us try to appreciate the good qualities. Let us try to bring them up close, understand each other, get along with each other. And that won't be reflected badly on the bringing up of children. Make the children love their parents. A fighting mother and father is a headache for the children. So this is the third point of gender sensitization. It aims to bring harmony in family relationships. Any questions on this point? Are you able to follow me or not? That, first of all, I'm not sure. You are. If you ask questions, then I know whether I'm being followed or whether I should try to change my presentation or I should be more clear. If you simply sit, looking at me through the camera, what do I cannot make out. Please ask me questions. You don't have to accept everything that I say. No, please remember, sitting on this side does not mean that I'm telling you everything right and you should accept it. No. You can disagree and please express it to me. That is important point in gender sensitization. If you do not agree with XYZ, make XYZ realize that you do not agree. And make clear on what. Just becoming angry and not talking to the husband at all. And husband keeps on, why are you angry? Why are you angry? Please tell me. No, I won't talk to you. If you don't tell him why you are angry, how can there be harmony? Please remember that. So somebody should break the silence. Somebody should open up their mind, exchange of ideas, clarify doubts, and clear misunderstandings. Then only a man can understand woman, a woman can understand a man. Otherwise, it is a family that is in trouble. That is not a harmonious family. Yes?
Sir, myself, Dr. Nagesh is here.
Yes, please tell me.
Sir, since we are in the 21st century and the generation is entirely changed right now, and the generation where you have now got a different type of an experience is becoming a kind of irrelevant.
Yes, please give me an example.
Yeah. So where earlier giving the importance for human relationship or the bonding between the husband and wife, it used to be so sacred. But in today's generation, as we are stressing a lot about gender sensitization, gender equality, yet we are facing a n number of challenges or the issues over the gender equality and the gender bias attitude towards the men or the women. It is going on. So when it comes to the current generation, what would be an appropriate steps that can be taken to bring an equilibrium or to bring a balance?
Yes. The first appropriate step is we should understand the concept of gender sensitization or when we use the word gender equality, gender justice never says make another person suffer injustice. So if you say that in today's generation, the concept of gender justice has created more problems. No, that's the wrong idea. Gender justice is to render justice to both, not to make any injustice to any one party. No, that is one thing. As far as possible, try to balance. Why do we have courts for? If one is to be held as right and another is to be held as wrong, then society would become divided. Court always tries to balance. So, the concept of gender justice is to render justice to both the sexes, not one against the other. And that is gender equality. Gender equality is treating both men and women as human beings, as capable, as shouldering equal responsibility in the society, as both contributing to the development of the society. What is wrong in that? Only when we give preference to one over the other, the concept of injustice creeps in. And the gender sensitization program is aiming to bring harmony, is aiming to bring peace, is aiming to give equal opportunities for both the sexes, both men and women, to be able to realize their potentialities, not to suppress one sex against the other. No. So, the idea is to help people. Gender sensitization aims to help people realize their potentialities, not one against the other, not one as being superior to the other. No, no superiority or inferiority ideas, no injustice ideas. It is justice for both the sexes. Unless both are happy, can the family be happy? Unless both men and women in the family are happy, can there be happiness in the family? The concept of family happiness is not one having happiness and another not having happiness. That is not a family at all. Family, the concept of happiness is inherent in the word family, where all members are able to get along with each other beautifully well. At least they keep on trying. Such a family is a wonderful family, beautiful family.
Sir.
The ups and downs. Gender sensitization does not aim to create ups and downs. Not at all. That is a wrong idea. It tries to balance the family. It tries to balance the family
that is
emotions.
no,
Tries
sir.
to balance
I
the opposite.
probably you took it in a wrong way. I think so. No, I did not say about the gender inequality is not promoting the the upper hand of one particular gender or putting down the another gender here. I was just mentioning you that the days are becoming like it's a polarized. So nowadays, today's current generation that they are not agreeing to go with the values, morals, ethics, how our parents used to manage their family, the bonding and everything. But today it has like oversensitization is leading and causing a number of issues in
It's
the
not
girls and the women.
oversensitization.
I would say
Actually,
I can tell you because of the media and the platforms are creating such kind of a sensitization
that is a
program.
wrong notion that
Yeah.
the media is creating. No.
Yeah.
I have explained the objective of gender sensitization. I think that is clear. But if any section of the society is trying to use it to bring about advantages or disadvantages among different sections of the society to their own selfish interests or in wrong conceptions, then again, gender sensitization is necessary to set it right. Because the gender sensitization aim is honorable. It is in the interest of the society. It is required for the society. But when you try to talk of values, morals, etc., see, they are all fluctuating. According to generations, values differ.
True.
So we are not talking in terms of values, morals, etc. No. For example, when there is a wife who may have been separated, who may have gone to her native place because of a quarrel or something like that. Now, this man posing himself as now free, and my wife has left and we are separated and I have nothing to do with her, and goes for a second marriage. Now, that is not moral. In law, also, it is immoral. That attracts section 69 of the Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita or the Indian Penal Code. When there is a wife who is not divorced and who has not been separated for more than 7 years, you cannot say that you have given up the marriage is broken, and you do not become entitled to another marriage. You are misleading the other party, or you are misdirecting them, or you are compelling them in some other way. So that attracts section 69, minimum 7 years imprisonment for that, or fine, or both. So anyway, I hope it makes it clear. Yes, there will be ups and downs in the society because of changing morals and changing the views, etc. I agree. Now, for instance, as you have rightly pointed out, now the living in relationship has come into the picture. Living in relationship. A boy and a girl, they live together. In Bangalore, we have these two, a boy and a girl, taking up apartments for living together. They are living together. And owners in past this thing, if a boy and a girl goes and asks for a room, they would have asked a question, are you married? Today, they won't ask that question. They give the place for rent. They don't ask that question. Nobody asks that question in Bangalore. But it doesn't mean that concept of gender justice has gone. No. Nor has it negatively influenced. No. But if they are not aware, please try to inculcate a sense of propriety in the relationships. Because if something happens, she becomes pregnant, then what are the consequences? They are not married. She becomes pregnant. Forget about the boy and the girl. What about the child that is to be born? What are the rights of that child? Will the child inherit the boy's property? Who will take the responsibility for educating the child? What happens to loss of inheritance? Who takes care of the mother or the father when they fall sick? Now, not discussing these responsibilities, not taking up these responsibilities, getting into such a relationship is in law also immoral. But living in relationship is accepted even by the Supreme Court today. Sorry, it is a sad state of affairs. Because what? We should think of the newborn, born to be. What is the right of this newborn? What happens to it? Who will take care of this child? So, gender sensitization tries to inculcate, to plan families, to plan by mutual discussion, mutual understanding, taking the help of elders also. It is a collective decision. Marriage is a collective decision, although it is personal between the two sexes. But in terms of social consequences, others come into the picture whether you like it or not. Court itself is another party. Okay, now this brings us to the concept of law. Because today's topic is criminal laws for the protection of women. I have written a book in Kannada, Women and Law. This is the book. The title, because it is for the state, I wrote it in Kannada. Kannada is the official language for us. And this is the book, Women and Law. Now, why this link? Mahile are women and law. That too, criminal law. Civil law, inheritance of property, etc., all those things which we talked just now in living in relationship, for example, all those things comes under civil laws. But now I'm talking of the criminal laws. Criminal, for example, a woman is raped. Consequently, she is pregnant. Now, who takes the responsibility? Shall we say, elders might tell the victim girl, I told you not to go out. I told you not to go with that fellow. I told you to be very careful. You didn't listen to me. Now you suffer. That is not the approach. You can't allow a person to suffer. Who has not made such a mistake? Many of us have made such mistakes, but lucky enough to have survived all those mistakes. Nobody noticed or nothing happened and we are okay. It is not completely abnormal. It is a normal biological phenomena. It should have not have happened. Of course, it has happened. Now, what next? Should the girl go and commit suicide? And should she also kill her baby to be born? Is that the end of her life? And should that fellow who was responsible for this go scot-free? He will go and look for another woman, another girl. So there are so many questions involved here. So, state is called in through the courts to examine this, haul up those responsible for it, make them contribute to this problem by solution. How can they solve? What is the role of that boy who is responsible for it? Now, what should be the fate of this girl? What decision should she take? And what are the responsibility of the parents or elders or those who are looking after her? Should she end her life? Never. Just because a mistake has happened in life, you should not end the life itself. No. Just because somebody did a mistake doesn't mean that you should sacrifice your life. Never. Should she be viewed as one who is become impure and she should not be accepted in the society? In a village in the olden days, maybe they would have done it. They would have kept her out. They may not have admitted her into the society. But today, state says she has every right to live. Even provides opportunity for her to educate herself, to educate her child, to have a normal child, and to educate the child, take responsibility for the child. And she is encouraged to marry. She has a right to marry again, or marry for the first time, even if it is first time. She has a right. And she should not be condemned. Nobody should point out this. Her photograph should not be published. Her particular should not be circulated. Nobody should talk ill of her. Not imprisonment, not less than 2 years if a person talks ill of a girl who became a victim of rape, according to law. So such strict conditions are there in the society against those who try to discriminate her because she is a woman and was subjected to this incidence of rape. It is not her fault. It may be her fault that she moved with a person innocently. That is different. But doesn't mean that he has a right to her life. He allows her to commit suicide. And sometimes they say he should marry her. Now, that is again a wrong concept. Do not force a victim to marry the perpetrator of this crime. Because if he has not respected her now, do you think after marriage he would respect her? So such kind of rural justice, please don't bring. Don't bring. If both of them, change their hearts and they decide to marry, that is their choice. That is their choice. If both agree to marry, it is their choice. But don't punish that boy saying that I'll make you marry her. Some courts also do this. Judges say, now you have done this, now you accept her in marriage. Within 6 months, I'll give you time for 6 months. Within 6 months, both of you should get married. No, that such judgments are also wrong. Still, both have a right to decide with whom they want to live. That's a basic right. You can't force it. Now, you want to ask why law comes into the picture, I'm trying. Because when we say society, in the olden days, it used to be panchayat, gram panchayat, or taluk panchayat, or elders of the society used to meet and make decisions and all that. But today, it has got national, international implications. Therefore, panchayat has a very, very, very limited role. And most of the panchayat members today are not as educated and wise as they were before. They are petty politicians. So you can't just leave it to the panchayat alone. Panchayat is also an important body. But more than that, because of the national and international implications, courts come into the picture with equal opportunities for both to present their positions, explain their approach, and what they want to do. They can tell the court, and court will decide what they should do. So, law is also to maintain harmony. The objective of gender sensitization and the objective of legal procedures, courts are the same. Bring harmony, peace in the society. Now, my whole idea is dedicating the first session is to clear misunderstandings about the concept of gender. Gender equality, gender inequality, gender justice, all those concepts are to be understood in the right context. And the context is always to maintain social harmony, peace, and progress. And both are responsible for maintaining this. because they are citizens, responsible citizens. A woman is no less a citizen than a man, or a man is no less a citizen than a woman. Both are equally responsible. Any questions? Now, please remember the law related to gender issues has the same sanctity as the other laws. Same sanctity as the other laws. And is incorporated in the Constitution, particularly Article 15, subclass 3. Article 15 of the Constitution, subclass 3, gives equal rights to men and women. From that is derived many procedures for criminal laws. IPC, Indian Penal Code, in the old laws, now it's called Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita, BNS. The offenses are all related, are listed. This is the offense and this is the punishment. IPC defines the offense and lists the punishment. If it is proved, this is the punishment. Punishment may be by physical restrictions, such as putting in a jail, or it may be in terms of fine, paying some money as compensation to the state. Or it may be both jail and as well as fine, both. Now, the whole concept for these provisions in the Constitution came from human rights. Now, what are human rights? All of you have heard of human rights. Now, that's very much related to gender sensitization, because human rights are based on a simple, natural phenomenon. Nobody asked us before being born, would you like to be born? And if so, would you like to be a man or a woman? Nobody asked us. A woman, after birth, she realized that she is a woman. A man realized that he is a man after birth. Nobody knew before birth, right? Not even as when in the womb. It may be detected through some scientific this thing, whether it is male embryo or female embryo, that is a different matter. But the concept of sex as male or female, only after birth is clear. And nobody asked us to, nobody asked us permission to bring us into this world. Were you ever asked by anybody whether you want to be born or not? No. You were just brought in without your permission, you are here. That is what we say, fate. We are born, so we are there. That's all. So, it is not my responsibility that I am born. No, somebody brought us into this world. Therefore, having been born, made to be born, until we die, we have to live. Right? You follow the logic. Nobody asked us whether we want to be born or not. But we were brought into this world. But once brought into this world, we have to grow. We have to live till death. So whose responsibility is it to provide the basic essentials for me to live? Water, air, land, food. These are all basic requirements. Place to sleep. Consequentially, a place to learn, a place to get myself treated, and so on. Should I stop? Just I'll complete this and stop. So, it is the basic right of every human being who is brought into this world without his permission or her permission. So, he must be or she must be allowed to live. That means air, water, food, etc. are our birthright, basic rights. They are human rights. No need for a permission from the government or a court to breathe, to seek food, to seek a place for sleep, to get shelter against sunshine or rain. These are basic necessities. They are human rights. Nobody can deprive you of this. They are free in the nature, and we should be free to use it. That is as simple as that. Basic human rights are those rights which make you exist, and those facilities are provided not by the society, not by the court, not by the chief minister, not by the politicians, but by nature. Who are these people to make restrictions? In fact, they have got responsibilities to give us air, fresh air. So they should take control against pollution. So it is their responsibility to keep the air clean. See how corresponding responsibilities are laid at the feet of the society. So corresponding responsibilities are brought in, corresponding to human rights. Human rights is acceptance of our basic existence and to avail the basic needs which are provided in nature free. So we will